me show you a little video. This is when I had Stormy on in 2018, and first I asked her why she had sex with Trump. Listen to that, and then listen to what she says after that, and then we're going to talk about the trial, because it's quite in variance of what she said to me in 2018. Why did you fuck Donald Trump?
I have no idea.
Okay, but you say it's not a Me Too case.
It is not a Me Too case. I mean, I wasn't assaulted. I wasn't attacked or raped or coerced or blackmailed. They tried to shove me in the Me Too box to further their own agenda. And first of all, I didn't want any part of that because it's not the truth, and I'm not a victim in that regard.
That's not what she's saying, though. She's talking about he was bigger and blocking the way. It's all the Me Too buzzwords. She said there was a power imbalance of power, for sure. My hands were shaking so hard. She said she blacked out. Blacked out?
It's the Political Brown Kid here. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day, or at least a safe day. I will say this. When I saw that Bumble reaction from those females in regards to the Bumble ads, which were created and at least approved by women, and Bumble's owned by a woman, but yet you still have women that obviously are on TikTok and on all of these other platforms who obviously don't know. They haven't done any research at all to even say, well, Bumble's is a female conceived company. It's founded by a woman, and to this day, the management staff, the executive management staff, is predominantly women. But yet, you have women that want to get on TikTok and all of these other social media platforms and rant about patriarchy, approving ads, and it's the men that are doing all of this stuff. And this just disheartens me that it seems like people just always want to blame things on men. And unfortunately, I see this coming from young Black women. And it's just kind of like, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm really confused. I'm trying to back and support my sisters in life, but obviously they want nothing to do with me because I'm a man, probably because I'm a Black man, probably because I'm a black man that's ugly as hell. I have no idea. But it's amazing that women will say stuff like if you watch the previous video that I did, in addition to them blaming the patriarchy, they say that men, they're not safe around men, they're scared of men, they're terrified of men, but yet they choose to, go out with us. They ran against the dating apps, but they go on dating apps to meet men. I'm confused. One woman even said that the dating apps were presenting women as options for men to date without women's consent. And it's like, but you're on the dating app. So I'm confused. So this is what I want to do. I want to do this video to show that women are not just, women can manipulate just as much as men can manipulate. Both genders have evil people within them. Human beings are not perfect. Men, women, even little children are just not perfect. You just have evil people that do evil things. So I just want to show y'all the manipulation of how, and it kind of, I really need to probably read that book by Esther Vilar called The Manipulated Man. I need to figure out what she's talking about in there. But I know that women can manipulate situations to their benefit. So let's just start here. And I'm going to start with this first person. And the first person is going to be Elizabeth Holmes. So if any of you are familiar or not familiar with Elizabeth Holmes founded a tech, she calls it a tech company. I guess you can call it a biotech company that basically was going to rapidly speed up, blood testing. And not only and it was going to eliminate the need to collect pints and quarts of blood that they typically drain from you. All it was going to take was like a little finger prick of a drop of blood, and they could do all of these wonderful tests. She took a company, and she did this all while she was, I think, 19 years of age. I think she was 18 or 19 years of age. She took this idea from $0 to $1 billion company. She went from whatever net worth that she had at the time to $1 billion net worth at the age of 19 or 20, or somewhere around there. And then all of a sudden, people realized that she was a fraud. She was frauding the system. And so what she did when the government came after her and took her to trial, she blamed it all on her boyfriend, or now ex-boyfriend. I think his name was Bawani. What she alleged was that he psychologically and physically abused her over the course of their relationship. Now, Bawani was an executive that worked for her company, but you got to remember, she's the CEO. She's the chief executive officer. I forgot what role that he played within the company, but then she never spoke of all of this abuse over all of these years. If she's this powerful woman running this company, why is it that when you get caught with your hand in a cookie jar and you're facing 30 years, I think she was facing like 18 to 30 years in jail, now all of a sudden it wasn't your fault. It was this brutal man who did this to you. And mind you, all of her claims was uncorroborated and unsubstantiated. And this man just brutalized you and forced you to do all of these unethical things, but yet you're the CEO of the company. Not at one point in time during any of this did you call the police, file a report. Not on any of these times did you fire this person and terminate this person from the company. But yet now that you're facing jail time, you up and decide to get pregnant. She had a baby while she was going to trial, hoping that, you know how white people do. They think that's going to delay them going to trial and that the court system is going to say it's a helpless woman that's pregnant, so she can't go to jail. And I forget how many years. I don't even know how much time she got. I don't even know if they sentenced this woman yet because I stopped following her. But that's Elizabeth Holmes. One woman manipulating the system to manipulate a man and falsely accuse a man of a crime, allegedly. Let's go to the second woman. I don't know, some of y'all are probably too young to remember Susan Smith, but me being 45 years of age, I remember Susan Smith because this was all over the television. She claimed that some black guy had carjacked her. She's from South Carolina, by the way. And she claimed she went on the news and said that some black guy had carjacked her and took her kids and I guess, disappeared. She got left out of the car somehow. So the police and the FBI and all of these people went around searching for days for a black man. And I do believe, didn't they find, I think, a suspect? They actually accused the black guy or had him as a person of interest in her case. And then come to find out, this white woman, Susan Smith, drowned her kids. She took her car. I think she had 3 kids, took her 3 kids, put them in the car, pushed the car into a lake, drowned her 3 babies. Drowned her 3 babies. I don't know why she did it. I don't have the history of that, but she drowned her 3 babies and then blamed it on a black guy. Almost sent the black man to jail. So that's Susan Smith, y'all. Here was a woman. Going on to the next person was Teresa Klein. Teresa Klein, I think this was in New York City. What happened in this case was a boy's backpack, this young boy, as you can see him in the picture, this young boy, his backpack brushed up against her back or her backside, one or the other. She claimed and went on a tirade in the store about the young black boy sexually assaulting her. The black boy denied it. Of course, now this black boy's traumatized and he's scared and, he's kind of going through emotions because he's being accused of an adult crime by an adult woman. And she calls the cops on him. Come to find out when they look at the videotape, his book bag or backpack brushed up against her. She did apologize, so I'll give her credit for that. She did apologize, but got irate over it. And once again, just wants to accuse somebody, and even when he denied it and tried to explain himself to her, she couldn't take that as an acceptable excuse. Let's go on. Let's look at this woman right here, Eleanor Williams. So Eleanor Williams, she was sent to jail for lying about being raped. And matter of fact, just to show y'all that I'm not just going to pick on the United States, this woman is actually from the United Kingdoms, from the good old UK, all you British people out there. So she lied about being gang raped and trafficked by Asian men. Just to go to show y'all, I'm not just trying to make a case for black men only. I'm making a case for men, period. So she said that these Asian men had raped her and they had physically abused her. and they did all of these injuries to her. And I think she was claiming the injuries were from a group of Pakistani business owners or something like that. She even said that her and her friends from school were being trafficked. Come to find out, none of this stuff was true. She probably was selling her goodies by herself. And once again, once they get caught, then all of a sudden, here we go. Some man did something to them. Here's another woman, Nikki Jovino. I hope I'm saying your last name correct. If I'm not, I do apologize, Nikki. But Nikki Jovino, she admitted later on, because she decided to have a threesome, a onesie twosie, as they would call it, or at least as I would call it. That's one woman, two guys, a onesie twosie. She decided to have with two brothers. I do believe they were black guys on the football team. Because of course, you got to see how strong those linebackers are. Women love a man with muscles because they got that pumping power, I guess. So she decided to go into the bathroom with two brothers and get it on. I guess reenact something that she saw in an adult flick, because that's the only reason why you would want to be with two men at one time. I don't understand that one, but whatever. So after she does the deed, she then files rape charges. And she claims that those two guys sexually assaulted her. The guys denied it, and then come to find out, Jovino admitted that she lied because she was worried about what her friends would think of her. Now I'm trying to figure out, like, what were you worried about? That your friends would think that you were, a loose woman because you had intimate relations with two guys at once, or because you were with some black guys. I don't know, but that's all of the information that I have on her. But this is just ridiculous. Let's move on. Let's do a flashback in time. Let's look at Ruby Bates and Victoria Price. Now, these were two women. I believe this was like 1930s time frame. So she claimed that 9 black boys, 9 of them, and I have the names right here, so I'm going to read them off. Clarence Norris Jr., Charlie Weems, Ozzie Powell. I hope I'm saying your name correct, Ozzie or Ozzie, but it says Ozzie Powell, Andrew Wright, Leroy Wright, Olin Montgomery, Willie Robertson, Haywood Patterson, and Eugene Williams. They have falsely accused these men of committing an act, assaulting them, sexually, if I hope I can say that word, but assaulting them on a train. Come to find out that one of the girls later admitted that the one girl pressured her into, making this statement. And these women were known to be paid to pay. The term that means that you pay for your goods and services, for your bodily goods and services. That's what they were basically doing. And I don't know if the guys paid them or what have you, but they basically lied on the guys. The guys still went to jail. Some of them went to jail and were fighting to get out of jail, and some were fighting to avoid being executed. Because that's what they do to black guys in the 1930s for attempting to do something like that to a white woman, yet alone 2 of them. Now, does anybody remember this woman right here, Amy Cooper? Amy Cooper, if you probably don't recognize her because this is a different type of picture. But if I showed you a picture of her in a park with some birds flying around her, probably better yet, Central Park with some birds flying around her and her yelling and screaming, you'd recognize that this was the bird, the Central Park Karen. I think that's what they called her. Now, what she did was she didn't have her dog on a leash, which you're supposed to have your dog on a leash. A black guy was bird watching, because that's what he does. Hey, look, I'm not into bird watching. Something new to find a brother into bird watching, but hey, that's his thing. Do your thing. So he's bird watching and watching birds in Central Park. He sees the dog, and I guess he's like, the dog scares away the birds. So he tells her to leash her dog, I do believe. She gets irate. I think he went to touch the dog or do something with the dog. She yells at him, telling him, don't touch her dog. She then pulls out her phone, says she threatens him, and she lets him know, I'm about to call the cops on you, and I'm telling the cops that I am a white woman and I have this African-American man that's about to sexually assault me. That's what she said, or so allegedly she said something to that effect, that was going to physically or sexually assault her. She then proceeds to fulfill her promise. She pulls out her phone, she calls the police, like she said she was going to do, and she basically states what I just stated. And when the police gets there, they find out none of it's true. And you know what the whole disappointing story about part of this story is for me? And I should have put the black guy's face up here because he's just as complicit. I told you black people are complicit in white people's crimes. Even after she threatened to send this black guy to jail, he still, I think, went to court and said he didn't want to press charges or didn't want her to go to jail. What kind of idiot is he? What kind of idiot is he? She's about to send you to jail. Teach her a lesson. She needs to be taught a lesson. She wasn't going to get 20, 30 years. And if she got that, that's what she deserved. But black people always looking out for I keep doing videos telling y'all, why do y'all keep looking out for the welfare and the well-being of these white people? But for whatever reason, y'all love to do so. But that's how that story wound up. I don't know how much time she got or if she got probation. She probably more or less likely got probation for her antics and probably a fine, which she probably should have deserved. So hopefully she lost her job too. I don't care. Now, the last one that we're going to do is probably the one that should have come first, but I saved it for last. And it is good old Carolyn Bryant Donham. Now, this woman, if you can see this picture in the middle, then you all should know who she is. This was the woman who basically got Emmett Till basically taken apart, mutilated, and murdered. There's no other way to put it. I'm not going to use the word unalive. I'm not going to use that. This is what happened to that man. This man was brutally lost his life, or young man, brutally lost his life because this woman decides to exaggerate facts in her story and basically tell the police that Emmett Till grabbed her hand and propositioned her. And she later recanted the story and said it wasn't true. But yet, police, and this happened what 2015, 2000, something like that. This is when all of this kind of came out about her. And yet, the police refused to bring her up on charges, let her live out the rest of her days. I think she lived to the ripe old age of 87. She enjoyed a good life while Emmett Till is laying there decomposing or have already decomposed. She was able to see the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s. She was able to see the turn of the century. She was able to see the internet come about, and she was able to see flat screen TVs. She was able to see a lot of things that she didn't see in the 1920s, whatever, when she was born, 1930s, whenever she was born. I don't know when this lady was born, but she got to see a lot in her life, and Emmett Till did not get to see anything. Last thing he saw was his moments of brutality, and he was probably terrified in his last moments and in a lot of pain. But yet they refused to prosecute this woman. However, Bill Cosby had to go to jail. He just had to go to jail for what he did. But yet this woman was still walking God's green earth and probably died with all of her family surrounding her, giving her warm hugs and kisses to send her off into the afterlife. I don't make this up. And I'm even throwing another one too. And y'all can hate me for it if you want. I'm going to throw an good old Cassie Ventura. If you don't know who Cassie Ventura is, look her up. That's Brother Love's ex-girlfriend, as he want to call himself. He went from Diddy to Puff Daddy to Sean Combs to Brother Love. I don't know what he wants to call himself. But the fact of the matter is this. Here's a woman that supposedly had all of this malicious stuff done to her, but yet she's on a red carpet walking around happy, smiling. And people say, oh, well, she's being groomed. You mean to tell me if you're being groomed and you want help, that there was no way for you to reach out to anybody in the 10 years that you was with Brother Love, that you couldn't have said, hey, look, I'm out of this relationship. I'm done. He's forcing me to be with all of these different guys. He's forcing me to do all of this different stuff. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's right or she's right. I'm not here for that, but I'm just kind of looking at things with a different lens. There's no way in the world you're able to walk around free. He wasn't holding you captive in a dungeon like them women were in Cleveland. Those women in Cleveland, remember, what's that guy? I forget the guy's name. They had them 3 women, 2 white women, and I think 1 Hispanic woman, all three white women chained up in a house. for 10 years. He got one of them pregnant, had a baby with one of them, and he had them chained up. Those women were captive. Cassie, you were not captive. You could have gone to the police several occasions. You didn't. And then when you broke up with Brother Love, you didn't file a police report. He obviously let you go your own way. I want to say she even got married. I do believe she married a white guy. She got married or was in a relationship with a white guy. And she's been with that guy for years or whatever. And then all of a sudden, I guess she just thought about it and said, man, I'm running low on cash. I need some money. And then approaches Brother Love and says, hey, you need to pay me for what I did. I performed some serious tricks for you. And those tricks weren't for kids. Silly rabbit. And that's what she told him. And basically, he wrote her a check and she got paid. She didn't file a police report. She didn't file a criminal report. She filed a civil court case. She just wanted to get paid. So I got a question, were you even really that much of a victim? So for all of these ladies out here, I just kind of wanted to present this. And for all of these ladies that are out here on Bumble claiming that the patriarchy is out here, well, the matriarchy is out here too. And the matriarchy does stuff like this. I could have gone on with a lot more other cases. I could have shown you there was a brother that met a girl on, I forgot what platform he met her on, but he lost his life to her. She went out on a date with him. There's a black guy and a black woman. Went out on a date. She went to his house, I guess. She came back a couple of days later and offed him in his own house and robbed him. Took things in the house. I don't make this stuff up. Look the case up. I forgot his name. I don't have the case. But stuff like that happens to us too, ladies. So when you want to say it here that the patriarchy is controlling the world and that women have no evil doings in it, that women just do everything right, men are just so evil and need to be taken off the planet, please rethink the stuff that you say out of your mouth. So if you have comments, drop them in the comments section. Also hit the like and subscribe button. This is the Political Brown Kid. I'm out of here.